Namaskar friends, I welcome you all to the digital media of Uday India, and today in Bharatiyataka Sankanath, I will tell about the same old National Herald case, the famous case, and that is not merely an instance of financial mismanagement. I want to tell you that it's a stark example of how political power can allegedly be leveraged to orchestrate a corporate takeover for mere personal benefit. What began as a newspaper burnout of India's freedom struggle under the leadership of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru in 1937, with over 5,000 independent shareholders, has now become the center of a legal storm involving some of the most prominent figures in the Indian National Congress. The narrative being projected by Congress as a political witch hunt is in a reality a misdirection intended to deflect attention from the serious legal and ethical questions that lie at the core of this case. In 2008, the National Herald ceased operations due to mounting financial losses, and at that point, the publication was owned by Associated Journals Limited (AJL), a company that had amassed a large amount of immovable property over the decades, donated for journalistic and nationalistic purposes. So rather than allowing a fair market process to determine AJL's fate, the Indian National Congress stepped in and extended an interest-free loan of 90 crore rupees to AJL, publicly stating the objective was to revive the publication. However, using party funds for private business venture is explicitly prohibited under Indian law and electoral rules. A political party is expected to utilize its funds solely for political and public interest activities, not to bail out or indirectly benefit a private company. When AJL failed to repay the 90 crore rupees loan, a new company called Young Indian Private Limited was incorporated in 2010. Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi each held 38% of the shares in this company. So curiously, YI was allotted AJL's entire debt of 90 crore rupees for a mere 50 lakh. In a single stroke, this transfer gave YI control over AJL's entire total shareholding and its assets, estimated to be worth 2,000 crore. This included prime real estate properties in cities like Delhi, Lucknow, Mumbai and Bhopal. Thus, through a questionable and opaque restructuring, AJL's assets donated for the cause of nationalism were effectively handed over to a company controlled by the Gandhi family without a single paisa being paid to AJL's shareholders or the Congress party that originally disbursed the loan. The entire sequence of events reveals an orchestrated corporate conspiracy rather than a revival of journalistic tradition. The central allegation is not just about financial wrongdoing, but about criminal breach of trust, cheating and misuse of political power. The Enforcement Directorate and the Income Tax Department have rightfully stepped in to investigate the case, treating it under the lens of existing financial laws. The matter is now before the courts and legal proceedings are underway. The fact that courts have taken recognition of the case and not quashed the charges only underscores its legal validity. This is not a political vendetta, but the due process of law. Congress claimed that this case is an act of political revenge, falls apart under scrutiny. Legal institutions have acted based on documents, financial records and shareholding patterns, not on political instructions. Moreover, no political party or individual should be above the law. If there is evidence suggesting illegality, especially when it involves public funds or institutions, and investigations become imperative irrespective of the stature or identity those who involved. By dismissing the case as a politically motivated, the Congress party is attempting to cloak legal accountability in the grave of victimhood. In conclusion, the National Herald case is not a fabricated narrative to malign political opponents. It is a legitimate legal pursuit aimed at bringing transparency and justice to an allegedly misuse of power, party funds, and corporate structuring. The law is taking its own course, and those involved must answer serious questions in the court of law rather than the court of public opinion. Congress' loud protests are not the voice of injustice, but the echoes of discomfort when legal scrutiny meets long-standing entitlements. That's all for today. Stay tuned with Uday India and subscribe to Uday India. And again, I will request all our esteemed audience to give their own feedback. That will be a great encouragement for our team and Uday India. Thank you.